Previously we took a look at the two leaders, but now we have a new challenger. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna take a look at Yolopark AMK Pro Series G1 Starscream model kit. We're gonna put this guy together. I hope that the line will continue because I would love to see first Soundwave and then the rest of the G1 lineup. If you're not familiar with these figures, technically they are model kits, but more in a build-a-figure style. There are no extra small pieces and it's easy to put everything together. We'll get to that. First, a quick look at the packaging. It's in the same style that we saw with previous figures. Transformers logo is in Decepticon colors and Starscream is labeled as Chapter 3. We have a great G1 illustration and I just noticed that there is an image of comic book panels behind the character, and it's like that on first two figures as well. I just realized that. Here it says diecast because these models do have some metallic parts that gives them some extra weight. This image highlights that the cockpit glass window on the chest is detachable. Why they felt the need to highlight that, I don't know, we'll see. Prime and Megatron are 20 centimeters tall, while Starscream is 19 centimeters. That's good, he should be a bit shorter than those two guys. Here is one side of the box, and then the other one. On the back of the box there is an image of the figure with all the accessories. On this image here, all red parts are made out of die-cast material. Same as other figures, this guy has a light-up feature for the eyes, but for that you will need one of these 3VCR927 button batteries, and those can be a bit hard to find. I had to get them from a specialized battery store. Top of the box has a 40th anniversary logo. On the bottom we have a Transformers logo, and all of this is actually a sleeve cover hiding this shiny metallic line art of Starscream that continues on both sides. And here we have a Decepticons logo at the top, 40th logo on the back, and we already saw the bottom. So now let's open it up and let's take a look at what we have here. Here is our Starscream in pieces, separated in two plastic trays. And here are all the parts out of the tray, ready for assembly. Before we do that, let me just show you that in this box you also get a paper with customer service information and a manual instruction for how to put this figure together. So now, let's do that. And here is Starscream fully built. My first impressions, I love how this guy turned out. The sculpt is sharp and crisp, all the line paneling is beautifully done, and that can be seen especially on the wings, where we do have Decepticons logo, but these line panels are cleanly sculpted over the whole thing. These figures do not transform. They are for people who don't mind having them only in their butt mode. But these lines give you the impression that the wings do fold. They imitate the cuts where pieces would usually fold, and I appreciate the attention to details. The paint is nice and vibrant, he has his iconic G1 colors, and as I said in previous reviews, this line gives them that original cartoon look, but with a touch of realism through application of paint chipping effects. And again, it's subtle, they didn't overdo it. For the most part, it's like this on the edges of some of the pieces. The head looks perfect. This is that classic Starscream Starscream look from the cartoon, and here again the sculpt is nice and sharp. He does come with few alternate face expressions, but we'll get to that in a few moments. Chest piece looks good as well, and as the box pointed out, the cockpit window is removable, but I have a hard time doing that. I feel like I should use some kind of tool to separate it, but I don't want to risk damaging the figure. I still don't see the point of doing that, because while yes, inside of the cockpit is sculpted, and you can see that even through this piece of plastic, there's nothing that comes with this figure that should be inserted inside. So again, I don't see the point of removing this piece. Here is a look at his arms that are also really well sculpted. We have those separately articulated fingers, and then his blasters that are also really well sculpted, really sharp and nice, and there is a little bit of weathering inside of these grooves and ridges. And then a look at his legs. There is like a little bit of imitation of rust here, and you can see it even more here on the inner side. It brings more life to these figures. And here is the back of the legs as well. So all of these sculpted lines are not lost because of that weathering. And then a look at the bottom of his feet with some more nice sculpting. As back of the box showed, die-cast parts are these vents, upper panels of the chest, upper arm panels, upper leg panels, blue panels on lower legs and toes. They are all well spread across the body, and that gives the figure more stability, which is great. Just overall a beautifully looking figure that is so well designed, sculpted and painted, and I love it. Let's now take a look at his accessories. He comes with two swappable faceplates with different expressions. This one is more serious, and this one has that kind of smiley smirk that Starscream is known for. And to swap out those faceplates, you simply need to remove this one, pull this one out like this. We're gonna put in his smirk face. Yes, this looks great. And here is how that looks on the figure. We also get two pairs of purple blast effects. First, a pair of these longer ones that, as you saw in the build process, they can be separated into two pieces like this. And I thought that you could maybe just use this piece alone, but it doesn't plug into his weapons or down here into his heels. That means that these should always be plugged in into this extension. These effects can plug into his arm weapons, and let's do that. Let's see if it fits, and yes, it does. We have Starscream firing from his arm weapons, and this looks great. You can also use these same effects for his heels, plug these in, and now you can have the effect for when he is flying. He also comes with a pair of smaller blast effects, but these are actually missiles that leave a dust trail behind them. Let me bring it in just a little closer so that you can see it better. The missiles are translucent in the same way as the dust trail, and these plug into his chest. These two panels hinge up, revealing the tips of the same missiles, and these actually serve as pegs. And so now we have Starscream launching his chest missiles. The flight stand is also included, and it's the same one that came with Prime and Megatron. It has few points of articulation and a small Decepticon logo pegged in at the base. And because I pre-ordered this figure from Yolopark online store, I also got a free acrylic stand with Starscream promo image and a Transformers logo. This can go great with the figure on your display, and now I wish I have this for Megatron and Prime. Let's now take a look at his light up feature. Here is one of those batteries that you need to purchase separately, and what you will need to do is open this panel at the back, unscrew these screws, split the head in half like this, slide the battery in behind this chip, put the chip back into the head, and then put everything back together as it was. To activate the eyes, you will need one of his two weapons, because they have magnet here inside. And so, same as with Prime and Megatron, all you need to do is just touch the head, and his eyes light up. I turned off the lights just to see this light up feature a bit better, and on camera the lights are shining like yellow, but when you see it in person, his eyes are fully red. There are 3 modes: a long on light, which is this when we touch it the first time, second touch gives us fast flashing lights, and the third touch gives us slowly fading light. It's the same thing that we saw on previous 2 leaders. And then of course when you touch it the 4th time, you turn off the feature. Let's now take a look at his articulation. The head is on a ball peg and it can rotate side to side, move 360. There is a nice side to side tilt. You can look down only slightly, but up is a bit better. As you already saw, these panels hinge up. Wings also have hinges, so they are articulated. You can fold them in like this. There is a decent butterfly joint with which Starscream can cross his arm across the chest this much. But that butterfly joint doesn't go back, it just moves back to its original default position. Arms can rotate and you can move the wings out of the way. They go out better than 90 degrees. There is a bicep swivel, and his cannons are also on ball pegs, so you get some movement there and you can rotate them. He has double jointed elbow that goes in all the way, ball peg wrists that gives us a little bit of swivel and a full 360 rotation. The thumb and the index finger are sculpted separately, and the thumb is only on a ball peg, so it moves slightly in and out and rotates a little bit, while the rest of the fingers have 2 hinges, and so you get 2 points of articulation here, so Starscream can make a fist. His torso is extremely limited. Because of the way that this part is sculpted, you practically don't have any side-to-side movement. The side-to-side tilt is slightly better, and crunching forward you get this much, and back only this much. On the diaper area, these panels move out of the way, these 2, the ones on the side, and then the complete back panel. So that way the leg articulation is freed up a bit more. And the legs have that same drop-down joint system that we already saw in this line, and so with that, legs move out all the way. You can kick forward this much, back this much, there is a tie cut, knees bend this much. Oh, these are on a hinge that can also move in this direction. So this gives even more range to the legs. This is crazy. I didn't expect this. So yeah, the leg gets even more motion. And even this back panel, it does hinge up like this, but then it also moves upward like this. That's a nice engineering. You can pull the torso a little bit up, and that will kind of give you a bit more side-to-side rotation, but again, not much. But that does give you a slightly better bend backwards and forwards. His feet are designed in a way that you get a swivel up here where the foot connects to the rest of the leg. The forward movement is actually a toe joint, so it bends all the way out, but back is a neutral position. And for the ankle pivot, the feet can't pivot outside, but they can pivot inside because the hinge is designed in this way, in this direction. So on the figure, forward movement of the foot looks like this, and then an ankle pivot looks like this, which is really good for this kind of figure. And then we have these 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. You can get some nice dynamic poses out of this guy, and I can't wait to mess around with him for his posing video, so stay tuned for that. Let's now compare Starscream with some other figures. Here he is with the AMK Pro Series Megatron and Prime, and you can see that they work perfectly together. Prime and Megatron are definitely a bit taller than Starscream, and that's exactly how it should be. I'm truly excited to see what Yolopark will do next in this line. Hopefully they will continue and give us even more characters. Here he is with Yolopark Mini Kit Bumblebee and the original, and I do mean the original Optimus Prime figure. Here is how he scales with Megatron and Optimus from Hasbro's RED line. And here is how he scales with himself from the same RED line, and on the other side RED Soundwave. And finally, here is how he scales with Marvel Legends movie Deadpool and Star Wars The Black Series Imperial Stormtrooper. So that was my look at the Yolopark AMK Pro Series G1 Starscream model kit. After first 2 releases, they have done it again. They made another fantastic figure in this line. The sculpt and the paint are beautiful. Articulation has a great range, the figure feels good and it looks good. And it's just overall an amazing release. No, it doesn't transform, but as I said, these are for people who would display these guys in their bot mode anyway. He comes with some essential accessories and even has a light up feature. All in all, this Starscream is a strong recommendation on my part, but those were all just my thoughts. Now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about this figure? Do you have it or do you plan on getting it? Let me know all of that down in the comments. As always, a special shout out goes to my Patreon supporters for helping me to keep the channel alive. Everything that I earn over there goes into the channel's content, so if anyone else can help, please do so. And if not, that's also okay, because you are helping simply by watching and sharing my videos. So thank you all for watching, thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next one.